Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a truly incredible journey, a microscopic tour to follow one single blood cell as it travels to the massive network of highways inside you, the circulatory system. So, here's our roadmap. We'll start by exploring the inner world where our cells live. Then we'll look at the river of life, which is, you guessed it, the blood itself. After that, we'll meet the heart, our engine, follow our blood cell on its amazing journey, and wrap things up by talking about caring for the system. All right, let's dive into our first section. Before we can really appreciate the highways, we have to understand the world they serve, this carefully controlled environment where every single one of your cells lives and works. So it's a really important question, right? Because your cells, they aren't just out there in the open. They can't directly breathe in oxygen or eat food. Nope, they live in this special internal sea of fluid, and they totally depend on a delivery service to bring them everything they need to survive. And that incredible balancing act has a name: homeostasis. It's this continuous process your body goes through to keep everything inside, like your temperature and oxygen levels, just right. It has to be perfectly stable, or your cells just can't function. And it turns out two main systems are in charge of this whole operation. You can think of these two as the body's ultimate maintenance crew. The lymphatic system is super important, playing a key support role. But for today, we're focusing on the star of the show, the circulatory system. This is the master transport network, the logistics company that delivers all the good stuff and hauls away all the waste. So, what is actually flowing through all these vessels and pipes? Well, let's zoom in on the fluid itself, what we're calling the river of life, our blood. If you just glance at it, blood seems like a simple red liquid. But it's actually way more complex. It's a living tissue. As you can see here, about 55% of it is a yellowish liquid called plasma. But the other 45%, well, that's made up of cells, and that's where things get really interesting. Let's meet the main players in our blood. First up, you've got white blood cells, the leukocytes. They're your body's security force, the immune defenders. Then there are platelets, or thrombocytes, which are like the emergency repair crew, rushing in to patch up leaks. But the ones we see the most of, by far, are the red blood cells, and they're going to be the hero of our story today.
That's right. To really get how this whole system works, we're going to tag along with just one of these red blood cells, an erythrocyte. Its mission is simple, but it is absolutely vital. Pick up oxygen in the lungs and deliver it to every other cell in the body.
But wait, our little red blood cell can't just float around on its own. It needs a serious push. So before its journey can really begin, we need to meet the incredible engine that powers this entire system, the heart. Just think about this for a second. When you're just sitting there relaxing, your heart is beating around 70 times a minute. That's every minute of every hour of every single day. It's this amazingly powerful muscle that works nonstop from before you were even born until your very last moment. The heart is just a marvel of biological engineering. And here's its basic blueprint. It's a pump with 4 chambers. The top 2, the atria, are like receiving docks for the blood. And the bottom 2, the ventricles, are the super powerful pumping chambers. But here's the genius part. The right side only handles blood that's low on oxygen, and the left side only handles blood that's rich with oxygen. And these 4 little valves make sure the blood only ever flows in one direction. Okay, this is it, the main event. Our hero, that single red blood cell, has just picked up a full load of oxygen from the lungs. It's bright red, and it's now sitting in the heart's left atrium, just waiting for that big push out to the rest of the body. Now, to understand this journey, you have to know about this really cool feature called double circulation. What it means is that for every one full lap around the body, blood actually passes through the heart twice. This creates 2 totally separate loops, one going out to the body and one going to the lungs. It's an incredibly efficient design because it makes sure that oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood never, ever mix. So this shows the whole 2-part trip. Let's follow our cell. First, it gets pumped from the left side of the heart into the systemic circuit, heading out to the body. It travels all the way to, say, a muscle in your leg, drops off its oxygen, and picks up the waste product, carbon dioxide. Now it's deoxygenated and heads back to the heart's right side. But it's not done. From there, it gets pumped into the second loop, the pulmonary circuit, which sends it to the lungs. There, it drops off the CO2, picks up a fresh tank of oxygen, and heads right back to the heart's left side to start the entire journey all over again. Wow. And this whole trip happens inside a network of blood vessels that is just mind-bogglingly huge. If you could lay them all out end to end, they'd stretch for about 60,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than twice. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Think of them as high-pressure freeways with thick, muscular walls to handle the force. Veins carry blood back to the heart. They're more like low-pressure return roads, with thinner walls and special valves to make sure blood doesn't flow backward. And connecting those arteries and veins are the most important vessels of all, the capillaries. These things are microscopic. Their walls are only a single cell thick. It's so narrow that our red blood cell has to literally squeeze through in single file. This is the exchange zone. This is where the real work happens, where that precious oxygen gets delivered and the waste gets picked up. Okay, so we have just witnessed this incredible non-stop dance of delivery and removal happening inside us all the time. For our last section, let's talk about why it is so important that we take good care of this amazing system. Because when we neglect it, the whole system comes under a lot of stress. Things like hypertension or high blood pressure put a constant strain on our arteries. Over time, that can lead to atherosclerosis, which is when the arteries get hard and narrow. And these problems are really dangerous because they can lead to a heart attack where blood flow to the heart gets blocked, or a stroke where blood flow to the brain is blocked. And this is the really empowering part. The health of your circulatory system is mostly in your hands. This is like your owner's manual. Simple, consistent choices make a massive difference. A balanced diet and regular exercise are huge. Not smoking is absolutely critical. But also managing stress, staying at a healthy weight, and even just drinking enough water all help keep your internal river of life flowing just the way it should. Just let that sink in for a moment. This whole journey, the story of delivery and renewal, is happening inside you right now, billions and billions of times over, every single minute. It's this silent, powerful, and constant miracle that's keeping you alive and well. So I'll just leave you with this final question. Now that you've seen how complex and how vital this system is, are you taking care of your incredible transport system? What's one small thing you can choose to do today to help your heart and blood vessels continue their amazing work?